Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you had time to make tea, coffee. Me, I didn't. I was busy talking and I didn't get coffee, but I have another Morrowind open with, I believe, every or almost every mod that Abot ever published. And so we're going to take a look at those and Abot will be telling us everything. Is that right, Abot? Will you tell us everything? That's a yes.
Yes and no.
Welcome on in. It's
Oh,
lovely to have you.
nice to be here too. I'm sorry because I'm not super good, but I will talk a little less than in my usual streams probably, but I will try to answer the question. Maybe with yes or no, but that will be some answer for sure.
That is, let me give you a little more volume on my side. Okay. Chat, can you tell me how it is with the sound? Right now, I can still make Abbott a bit louder. Abbott, can you say something real quick, please?
Yes, something quick. Are you looking at the malls on the Nexus or also to something that's on my side?
I'm looking at everything.
Oh, crap.
Because,
That's a lot of things. 16 years
because
or malls.
because there's on the Nexus, and then of course there's your website that has a few more things that are not on the Nexus. So yes, I have most of them.
The experiments.
But Abbott, we need to talk. I have a very serious question.
Oh, crap.
Can you
Okay.
can you tell us about this? Can you explain to us what that means? I see mods, Oblivion, two
Yes,
items.
I made two mods for Oblivion also, and two mods for Skyrim.
Oh yes, Skyrim, I know.
And
It's
no, I did a couple mods for Oblivion. I don't even remember what they are, but I did a couple. Now, I remember one for sure. Uh, it was the first version of the uh, Game Hour mod. I did first it, I think, for Oblivion and then for Morrowind.
mm,
Or, not sure about it, honestly, but they are the same mod in
in both
the
games.
Tempus Future on both games. Uh, so it's a very simple mod just to change the game hour settings in a more easy way. But I think I did that. The second one, I don't remember even what this doing. I must check the title. But honestly, when I started playing Skyrim, I did not play, mm, I think, Oblivion anymore because I liked that much more, and I started. I think I done those couple mods for Skyrim, and one of them is still very used. And another one, which I think it is the better one, by the way, it is not so much used because it is something uh, less common. It is a mod to uh, change the speed when swimming of
Mm-hmm.
player, but also of other NPCs. And it's one of the things that's not very realistic in Skyrim because you swim very fast. But well, a lot of games have this kind of uh, not realistic swimming speed. I think Morrowind is one of the best ones from this point of view,
Of course, of
even in
course.
vanilla. But Skyrim, you go very fast swimming, and I made that mod, And I think it is still something working very well, but not something that people use so much like the one giving hurting you when you touch some fire.
Are you still playing Skyrim, or you tried it and then you said, okay, thank you, bye?
No, I play every now and then, but well, I play mostly Morrowind these last couple of years, but every now and then I start playing again Skyrim. I like it. Like every kind of playthrough, when you reach level 40, both in Skyrim and both in Morrowind, I tend to stop there, and maybe I lose a little interest. So if I find the inspiration to start a new character, maybe I play again Skyrim, but usually if I play Morrowind and test new mods and so on, I start a new playthrough with Morrowind and keep on playing that.
Okay, so
But
we have to keep
I like
watching.
Skyrim.
So yeah, I was gonna say, so we have to keep watching your YouTube channel. Maybe one day there's gonna be a let's play of Skyrim. Maybe. We'll just have to wait and see.
I like a lot of things. I think that both the games can inspire each other, because some of the things they have introduced in Skyrim, the ideas of a lot of new things they introduce in Skyrim are coming directly from mods down from Morrowind or for Oblivion, and some things that happen in Skyrim are inspiring Morrowind modders. I'm thinking about, for instance, one of my personal most expected mods for Morrowind, now that we have a way to script that, is about adding the footprints that I've seen and used and loved in Skyrim.
Yeah.
Technically, all we need now is some good textures, because we can do it from MWSLU.
So we
Placing
just
on the
need
fly
somebody to make the mod now.
Make the mod, I think, not so difficult. Making good footprints, textures, maybe that's. We have less people able to do that. We have a lot of programmers, but not so many texture artists. So that's probably what. But there will be some competition in a short time. I've seen the video by a Dark Elf guy recently. So usually when 3 or 4 people got together to do the modathon,
Madness.
it
the
is
madness.
madness. It is the good time for a project like this, because you have a lot of people starting, and I think that's a good possibility. I don't remember, there's a team when you do, or it is something.
There's 3
a random
competition.
team.
The one with team is the Morrowind Modding Madness, the one that lasts for 1 month. Remember, we did it together 2 years ago.
I remember that, but I did
That's
not
the
remember
madness
if
in
it is a
team.
random team or something that.
Random
Okay.
team, yeah. Random theme in teams. There we go. So yeah, but you're right. Usually, when we have the madness and we have teams, it is a good opportunity to sort of spark creativity and do some new things. We'll see how it is. I've created a character with a very clever name, Abot Tester. Very proud of myself there. Uh, and
Uh,
and we're in
most
Saline. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
the most famous character in all builds in Morrowind, it is the standard dark elf guy here,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little bit.
because that's the one we have at the start.
Yeah. I can see.
And
So,
okay,
sorry. I was gonna
no,
say. I see in the chat that me world record holder is suggesting an annual modding competition that runs for 12 months. Good idea. That's a lot of modding. Maybe too much modding. And Gary is asking if you remember Alien Soft and Basil. Basil was her character for the fan fiction, if I remember.
yeah, the vampire
Mm-hmm.
or not
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
was a vampire.
yeah, was a vampire. I think Denina would be able to tell us better, but Denina was writing with Alien Soft as well. So we have lots of old people here, like the OG of the Morrowind community. We're that old. Yeah. Basil the Bastard Layer Seal. See, Denina remembers. Now, let me show you the mods that I have installed. And as I do that, I can actually also show your last mod. Modlist is the last mod you've published, right?
Modlist, I think so. Yes, it is the last one because I made it to be able to find a big problem with the smart hats one. But I think all in all, the better mod of the two is the least one because I did not think about it until I had the need for it. And now that I done it, it's like why I did not do something like that before, because it's not so hard to do a model like this, but sometimes you don't think about simple things, and you always keep on trying, telling people how to do something like that. Why we have this interface that is made for something like this, I think.
I like how
And so,
you make a mod that nobody's thought of, and nobody even dared asking, can you make that mod? You make it and you say, oh yeah, it was an easy mod. Like you make mods that people can't think of, and you say it's easy. So I'm a little jealous now. Like a mod like Vanity.
vanity is another kind of
Yeah.
complexity.
Uh-huh.
The idea is simple, but the execution has been it's not perfect yet, but I'm at a point where it is like this, and it will stay for a while because but the concept is very simple. It is just extending what had already been done for the swords and the weapons and the sheets, technically, but the idea of displaying the things and synchronize them to be in the proper position with so small things has been the real problem.
Yeah, because if you move it
they
just a little bit, then it doesn't
rings
fit.
are really hard to position properly.
And then there
And
are
that's
the replacers, and you can't take into account the vanilla item, one replacer, another replacer.
You discover how semi-random some decision of Bethesda as being about. I keep on discovering things like this with some meshes. For instance, another mod that I I have ideas every now and then, so I start trying to do a mod, and I go to some point, and then I discover I cannot find a good way to finish it. But the idea at the start is there, and one of these mod was one mod with a simple idea: make the player use the bed and lay on the bed. With a good animation, it could be pretty nice, but even without animation, we already have a pose when the player is knocked down. There are a couple of poses that are already good. The problem is that Bethesda has not a standard for orientation of the beds. So some are oriented in one direction, some are rotated, and you have no easy way to understand that. In theory, I could tell, oh, player, you have to use this, but you have to have the pillow to the right, to your right, and it would work. But I was trying to do something automatic, and so far I did not find any. But the idea is to do something like that. And another problem was with the double bed, the bunks bed. It's not easy to place the player correctly in the one down because there's collision, and so it's
So
still an idea mod.
We have to wait.
Probably.
For those of you who still don't know about modlist, it's super simple. You see all the plugins that you have in their actual order, which is also good. And the nifty, really cool feature is that it also lists your MWSC mods that may or may not have a plugin. And the best part, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, exactly, it's ready to be pasted on your notepad or anything you want. So it's just super simple, super quick to export your complete list of mods, which is very good, very, very good. Is there a mod you want to talk about or take a look at in particular, Abot?
Well, this one is basically a mod for people having problem and for mod authors trying to help people having problem. Because so far there's no utility to display the list of the MWSC Lua mods. And this is the only one so far. And so it was very difficult to debug problems with MWSC Lua mod because there may be conflicts, and if you don't know the list of the mods people have installed, it is much harder to find where possible conflicts could be, or just to know what you should download to try and recreate the same problem. Because when you try to solve a problem, if you author of the mod are unable to replicate the same problem, it is pretty hard to imagine where the problem is, how to solve it, and so this is at least a way to have the list automatically in an easy way for the mod user. And I remember for that problem, comparing three lists, mod lists, from three different people having more or less the same problem, I've been able to find a couple mods, the same mods, and finally installing those mods having the same problem. And once I had the same problem, I've been able to find where it was. So I think this mod or any utility that could do something like that, I think not something hard to it it is very useful because a lot of people don't realize. I too did not realize how many MWSU mod I had installed. Your
No.
install is uh, even more because you test and use a lot of more mods than I do. And but I think the majority of people having some MWSU mod are using more than 100 for sure without realizing it.
I
And
agree. I agree.
having some conflict is more and more possible.
Exactly. And even if you are used to debugging your Morrowind, like if I have an error about a mod, I will be able to find what mod has this object or this script, and I will be able to look at it. But with MWSC, because there is no plugin, I think we install them and we kind of forget about them. And that's how we end up having 200 or 300 MWSC mods, and you're like, oh my god. I did have a question looking at the list, because when I look at the regular ESP plugins, they are in load order. I can recognize it's my load order. And
Hmm.
the MWSC mods
There
are
is there is
not.
no a lot of, there is no known.
Mhm.
Uh, we must ask Nigerscape because he's the one that maybe knows what is the loading order. But I don't think it is something even alphabetic or uh, I don't know honestly if it is
Mhm.
something a little random or it depends on the path, alphabetic path or file time. I don't know.
Okay.
He's the one that maybe uh, could know this. I have sorted down in the list alphabetically, but the loading order is a little mystery. Uh, I have another little mod I did in Leo and I use every now and then, for instance, which is listing the the order of the events, and that is even more a mystery because uh, that is not written anywhere, but it's extremely important when you try to do a mod with MWS Lua because uh, some things are not correctly initialized until some of the events are completed, and
Mhm.
so you must pay attention and know possibly uh, what happens and in what order. But there's no standard. This thing is not explained, not documented. So it is not so easy. You go by try and error, and
Okay, so we still have
that could
things to
also be.
discover. We still have things to discover in Morrowind. That's good.
In MWS for sure, because as always, that list of events is always increasing, changing. We ask for something, and like I say, in a couple of days is making uh, the new things that the model is asking for. And so documentation is very hard to do because it is always behind the new features added. So from one point of view, it's a great thing because uh, every idea the model has can be realized in a short time. But for people starting and trying to understand how it works, it is not so easy. Lately, we had a big improvement, in my opinion, a fantastic improvement in documentation because we had uh, documentation were written to show the uh,
Speak, traveler.
inheritance of the properties of the things you use in a clear way, and that I think is great. And another incredible thing that we have, I don't think there are a lot of other scripting examples having something like that, is we have the complete library of the source code of all the MWSE Lua mods published on Nexus, and we can search there. So if you are looking for a special code, a special words, an example, it is like Google, and we look at all the code that's available. It's fantastic when you have to look for things or try to find an example similar to what you are trying to do. So from one point of view, we don't have a good documentation because development is so fast that it's always behind of. But from the other point of view, we have something incredible because I publish a mod, and when the mod is on Nexus, someone else can look at my code, and if I have used a brand new feature that Cascade has done for my mod the day before, it is already there for people to look at the code. So it's pretty great from this point of view.
Agreed. And it's really cool. I want to say every person who's done a Lua mod, they're always very, very cool with their perms, and they say, yeah, sure, use the code, do something with it.
But I think this is, well, luckily it is the attitude with modding this game, but I think also other games, the majority of people has. And I think in particular programmers are very good in this kind of things, because I found usually artists are a little less happy about sharing their things oftentimes.
My time
I don't know,
so make it
but
quick.
all in all, I think at least in Morrowind, there's not a lot of people who don't like to. It depends, but for MWSE, everything is open source, I think. So that's
True.
if you publish something, it's there for everybody to try and use it.
Try, use, improve, expand. Let's take a look at, I'm going from the top of the list. Can you tell us a little bit about Hot Quest?
Oh, this is okay. So I'm trying to use some jokes in the name, but basically Hot Quest it means hotkeys to enter in the quest panel, because that's something that I thought to add for me, because I was oftentimes
This is a wondrous
looking at
encounter.
the
Welcome.
quest list and then at the topics list, and having a couple shortcuts for that has been something. Also, I had to try something to learn how to use the control to select a new and store a new hotkey, because that's the way you learn to use the interface that has been done for MWS by my lord for MWSE Lua, because there's not much documentation also for that, especially at the time that I started trying to do something like that. And so you have to test your things to learn how to, and this was the first thing that I thought about.
I see in the chat, me world record holder says, a lot of smart mods, but quests are hot.
yeah.
It's not
Quests
Smart
are-
Quest. Smart Quest will be
Quests-
another mod.
Quests are always old. I think quests are the best thing about the mods, because they sort of link everything that's in a mod.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You've started using Lua quite recently.
I'm waiting.
or not?
Well, not so recently, because I think I don't remember exactly how many Lua mods I done, but I think since the first one I just did Lua mods, so I think yeah, um, at least 15 Lua mods done. So
Quite a few. Quite a few.
yeah, because it's completely new things, and you know, I'm not really a Lua enthusiast. In that, I think if something is working with standard scripting, um, I don't feel the need to redo that in Lua. Uh, because I think Lua is good for things that you cannot do with the standard scripting. It's very good for that. And maybe there was a little reason to redo with Lua some mods, but apart cases where there's a clear reason for efficiency, or there are cases like this, but the big reason was we had the plugins limit
To
that we could
49,
choose.
52, 54?
And now we have
forgot.
four times
Yeah.
the number, and we have no more that reason. So
Yeah.
I don't think that.
I agree. It's true. At the very beginning, we were like, "Oh, can you redo this mod in Lua because then it's plugin-less, and then we can have another mod in our mod list." But now, because the limit of plugins is 1024, I mean, I don't know about you. Have you reached the limit yet?
No,
No,
I don't
okay.
think. Technically, I think unless you are using very little patch mods, very small mods. In my experience already, I had, for instance, to remove a couple of landmass mods from a loading list because I was hitting the memory limit, and with the old engine, that's a limit that we cannot overcome in any way. So I don't think anybody could go past the 1000 mods for this reason.
Exactly. The memory, I think memory is the bigger problem. And then the processor, because Morrowind only uses one core. So, so we're limited.
Honestly, I don't think that's the big problem, because the processor's speed will be the same if we are using 10 mods or 100. I think more or less. Maybe the loading speed when you load the game, but memory is not something I can see a solution at the moment. But I'm no expert about that. Maybe there are some ways using. I don't know. I don't think so, but for now,
I was thinking the processor would be important for the FPS.
But what I mean is, if you have a low frame rate and your processor is having, for instance, couple mod just standard rebuilt, and you go to
Old Ebonheart.
Old Ebonheart, okay, you can have just 10 mods loaded, or 100, or 500. It will not change much. The SAS loaded full of things will still be slow, and adding or removing 100 mods will not change much that problem. It could change a lot about the memory, so you will crash after changing a couple cells if you have 300 or 500 or 1,000 mods, while having only 50 mods loaded will be much better. You will go on playing for much more time. That's a big difference with the memory. But I don't think the processor speed is very influenced by the number of the mods. because you load a certain number of cells, and you cannot really load everything you have in your list.
True. So we were talking about hot quests. Just to show how it works, I open my journal and then I press U, and that takes me directly to my list of quests, basically. As opposed to in vanilla, we'd go options and then quest or topics. So it's a hotkey for quest. It's a hot quest.
Simple, hot quest. Simple. Okay.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. And I can always be forgiven because I am not good with English, so I have this excuse.
Fine. Your mod.
About silly.
Actually, we can talk. This is a smart journal, isn't it? That when you mouse over a quest, it tells you the plugin.
But if you have that thing enabled, yes.
Of course I do.
And personally, I find it useful, but I see things always like a tester, even when I play. So I realize that a lot of people could find them distracting or even some kind of spoiler, and so it is something you can disable from the setup.
This is really useful
so.
if you have a lot of quest mods.
For me, it's something incredibly useful because every time you have some problems, the first thing you want to find is what mod it is, because it's pretty hard to find what mod is interacting with what quest usually.
It is. Yeah.
The journal and the dialogue are not easy to find that way.
No, that is good. Also, you talk about finding what mod a thing comes from. This is not my proper install, but what is that? Null Cascade. No, I don't think I have the updated version, but Null Cascade made it so that when using Ori on items, it gives us more information, which is also very useful. Because you're right, when we see something and we go, what is this? Is this vanilla? No, I don't think it's vanilla. Where is it from? Always a problem.
I realize that's a problem for a lot of people. In reality, it's not so hard to find where things are, because you can use any program to look for some string inside some files, but you have to know what is the folder where the file is and what kind of files. You have to know a couple of meta characters to do the search, and people is not used to these things. And so it's always the same kind of problem of search. It is like learning to do a search on Google. It's very simple, but the first time you don't know how to do that, and people try to find a problem and they are not. I see always the same question when, especially on sites like Reddit. A lot of people have the same problems, but don't even know how to do a little search like that.
It's true with with Morrowind. It's quite easy to make a basic mod with Morrowind. So learning how to mod, you can learn progressively. By contrast, I think learning to mod Skyrim, because the construction set, that is not called construction set. Studio creations, I forgot, but it's more complex.
Creation kit. something like
Creation
that.
kit, yes, you're right. It's more complex to learn, so that's a difference. But on the other hand, we have better tools to mod Skyrim. Like, it is easier to mod Skyrim. You don't need to learn so much. If you want to mod your Morrowind and troubleshoot your Morrowind, you need to learn how to use MO2, probably Rymash. If you want to find where a script comes from, you learn the conflict plugin conflict detector. Maybe you learn test view as well. Like, you have to learn a lot of different tools to be able to find out the issue and to correct the issue. Whereas people who mod Skyrim, they go download, install, play. The game crashes, but I think it's easier to add mods to your game for newer games than for Morrowind.
Adding for sure. Problem is when you want to remove them from Skyrim. Skyrim is baking a lot of things in the save, and it's a tragedy when you have to remove a Skyrim mod. I think the simplicity of how a Morrowind save format is allowing you to completely remove a mod, and with a couple of cleans from mesh, you can have the same situation you had before installing that mod. It's not something that you can have so easily in Skyrim. In theory, there are tools very sophisticated, very complicated, that should allow you to do something that I never been able to completely remove in a clean way a mod from Skyrim. Never been able.
Who knows? Maybe with the Elder Scrolls 6 it will be different.
I hope so, but I have not even idea what they will use to do the Elder Scrolls 6. I hope just that maybe they will try to decouple a little the objects from the save, so things that are no more loaded from a plugin will not be in your save forever, like the situation in Skyrim.
Are you actually looking forward to the Elder Scrolls 6, or you don't think about it and one day it will be there?
Well, I think I hope to be still here playing when the Elder Scrolls 6.
That's not what I meant. It's like, you know, Abot, you and I were so old, maybe we will never play Elder Scrolls 6. No, I mean, like, are you like counting the days, like hoping?
Let's say I would be very happy to play Time of Reveal. But I think it's probably well, I think I will be able to play Skyrim 6. TES 6. Not sure about Time of Rebuild, but I mean the complete one. I'm joking because I think that Time of Rebuild will never be complete because they will find a way to improve it forever. Time of Rebuild, it's a sort of concept. It is not. I don't know how to say it in English, but the concept is it is not the destination. It's the
journey. The journey getting there.
And they are making a journey to perfection, to modding. So
I saw on the Discord they actually announced 2 releases for Tamriel Rebuilt. Let me try and find that. It was in the Discord, in the showcase channel.
I think I don't remember the details, but in short, I think one is the upgrading of the Telvanni parts. They changed a couple Sialnim and Firewatch, I think, and there's an island, and the other one, how is it called? The one with the musk flies has been redone, and so on.
I hate those.
And then there will be a new part to the how is it called? to the west of the T River. I don't remember the name of the area, but more or less near. I don't remember the name of the city. So
I forgot
two
as
different
well.
things.
Yep.
Honestly, I hope they will do one unique release with both the areas, because it would be simpler to try and upgrade things probably.
So if you have the choice between playing Elder Scrolls 6 or playing the full release of Tamriel Rebuilt,
Well, I choose Timer Reveal because I think it will happen a little later. So it will mean that I'm still here playing, but no, I think it will happen first. The Elder Scrolls 6, but
There is someone
maybe we will be able to
we'll
play
see.
also Timer Rebuild. It will not be the definitive version, but it will be something that we can play. You can
Yeah.
already play if you want. Timer Rebuild,
Because once they've done everything from east to west, they can start again and update and improve using new models and new code. It's never ending. Like when they say when Tamriel Rebuilt is finished, it will never be finished. This is not possible. There's always something to do. Before we continue, sorry Gary, I see you mentioned a long time ago, you talked about fan fiction and how you enjoyed reading it back in the days. Recently, Denina has posted some of her fan fiction on my blog, and you also want to look at Alice's blog. Will I be able to find the address? I'll look for the address and post it. She's written a lot of fan fiction centered on one character in particular. There's like 10 chapters if I remember. So there's loads to read. Loads to read. That was the little parenthesis. There we go. Abot, while we were talking, I've recruited Nels Lando so that you can tell us about the smart companions, because companions are not smart. Let's face it.
well, smart is something that I keep using because I'm lazy, and I think it's a little joke because they are not really smart. They will never be, and we desperately try to make them smarter, but there are some technical limits, and so it's not something I think. But this mod is trying probably to make them more a little more useful, because sometimes well, basically you use companions like a beast of burden, and this is not only for Morrowind, it is always something you do also on new games like Skyrim, correct?
Mm-hmm.
At least this is how I always play with companions. And even, the thing is, in Skyrim you can overburden them and they still move better than in Morrowind. That means that they are made for that. So my idea was to make them able to do certain things that the player keep doing with them. So getting loot and giving loot to them, something more easier and faster, and also give them a sort of little interaction, so they say something when they do the beast of burden and they take things for you. And so that was the idea. And from there I have the other little things like the standard things that a lot of standard companion mods do, but not all of them. So Allure makes you able to do these things on the fly for every companion, even the older ones. Uh, Small things like giving them a way to avoid drowning.
Mm-hmm.
So, and maybe acrobatics, so they don't die when you use some loading door, because that was a problem with a lot of them. If you had some kind of levitation and you use the door, sooner or later one of the companion was dead, because a bug in the game that is not, at least it was not addressing this correctly. I think it's being fixed in the Morrowind code patch, but you never know if some options are in there. So the simpler thing is to give them acrobatics.
200.
Some,
That was the standard. 200 acrobatics.
yeah, I think more than 100 is enough, but 200 is better. Some people don't like when they jump too much, so maybe it's a matter of preferences also there, but
So
I think I'm using
with
to
this
run.
mod, it means that if you want to, every companion will have high acrobatics and water breathing, which for scripted companions, like, you know, the very best Julan, for example, they already have those features. But if you do the vanilla quest, where you have to escort an NPC here and there, those NPCs, they are horrible to babysit because they die so easily. So with that mod, any NPC that follows the player is going to have the acrobatics and the water.
Honestly, I'm not 100% sure about this thing. I think I have set the code to give these couple features also to standard temporary followers, for the reason that it is always annoying to have one quest follower, even if it's something just lasting for that special quest, to die because he's not able to cross a river, or just because you jump down from the edge. I think those things are for every follower, are added to every follower.
That's what it
Some
says.
other things are only for real companions,
Mm-hmm.
which are those with the companion variables, those able to carry things for you.
I can tell them to pick things up for me, right?
Yeah, this is the main thing of this mod.
I can't remember. Was it Shift activate, Alt activate?
Alt activate.
Alt activate. That's not my. Maybe the book is not good because it's scripted, and maybe.
Scripted things, I think, are not used, because usually they are quest things, so it's a little risky to
It's better
move
to
them from where they are. Maybe for books it could be something, but for now it's not enabled with scripted things.
So
at least some kind of them.
Alt activate, Alt activate, Alt activate.
But they also must be not so far from the object.
Mm-hmm. He was fine. What if I tell him to pick up something that doesn't belong to me?
I think it should trigger the usual reaction.
Okay,
from...
all right. Cool, guys. Just testing. Yep. So you can't go, psst, pick it up. The guards are not looking. Go.
But for instance, in theory, if you have an NPC good with thieving skills, like for instance Constance, you can try and open that closed chest or disarm that trap the door. I think that's a pretty nice thing because you can have a reason to have a thief companion compared to a warrior companion, because if they are good skills, they can open things for you.
So if I want to ask... Wait, hang on, the guards are looking. If I want him to loot, I go Alt-E. Let's see what can be found in that barrel. What did you get? He got things. And if the barrel... Oh, God. If the barrel was locked, he would try to open it, but then it depends on his security skills.
Basically, yeah, you have to give them the tools first, lockpick and the probes, and then they can try, but usually if they have bad skills, they are not able and tell you, I'm not able to open this thing. Maybe they can tell you this trapped thing is a little cheating, because even if they are not able, they can tell you if something is trapped if you don't have a mod to see. Maybe I could change that thing, but at the moment it is like this. You can use a companion like a probe so far, because if they are not able to open the thing because it's trapped, they probably tell you...
Nels, open that door. I'm gonna be back there. You go. You open the door. I like that. Useful companions. Okay, he cannot open that, for example. Oh, and the guards is looking at me too. Okay, that's really cool, because companions are, well, useful, and they're not just, you know, killing machines that follow you and get in the way. They can pick things up for you real quick and open things. So I really like that. I also have, now I need to remember, yeah, I have that little mod that you made for me. The one where, you know, I can shift activate them and companions say yes or no or maybe. I really like that. So I don't need to decide anything. I just go, Nels, do you think we should try to steal more things in this shop? Okay. He said nah. Oh, interesting question from me, world record holder. Does it work on NPC under the command humanoid spell? So if I command Mebastian...
I think... I'm not sure about it because I never tried, but in theory I think that when you use the spell, it is like having the follow command. So in theory, it should be recognized as a follower, not a companion. So it will not carry things for you, open things for you, but for instance, it should have the acrobatics and the water breathing improvement.
Command is illusion, right? Like, I don't remember if command spell is illusion or...
I think so.
Conjuration. No, conjuration. Isn't that weird?
A little.
Huh? I think so, but... Oh. I don't have enough magicka to try. 169. I'll be back. We'll test that.
Basically, the complex things that companions can do are only for companions, because I don't think it would be very balanced to have any follower, temporary follower, to be able to open things for you, to carry things for you, and so on.
Yeah. Though it would be very, very cool to command him to go and open all the chests he's got, so then I can steal everything. I would really like to do that. I'll try to command a regular NPC and then go underwater, see what happens. We need an NPC. No, not you. There we go.
Go ahead.
Maybe you have to talk with them. I think once. Activate them. I don't remember
it's just
where
that
I check.
even though I gave myself a lot of conjuration, I'm not good enough to cast a spell. But that's fine. We'll go and talk to the lady who wants to go to the shrine. She'll follow me. We can keep talking while I go there. It's not a problem.
I think it works also with... You can do that for Guos also. You can tell the Guo to... Oh, and one thing... one of the good things I try to implement is sort of way to select valuable things. So you can tell them, okay, I want you to get only things with this weight value ratio. So you don't encumber yourself, and I don't have crappy things that I'm not interested in. So that's a important setting about, yes. But if you set it to 1, they will take everything. So it depends how you want to everything they can carry. But you can also ask them to take everything, even when they are overburdened, like in Skyrim, in short. And they can also do that. I don't think it's very useful.
They stop walking, right? They stop walking and they just
stop
teleport
walking
to you.
And they keep on teleporting, usually because there are mods that do that.
The last time I was playing with 4NM, they don't let me do that. So I used my companion, and I just he was overburdened, like crazy overburdened, and then I was running happily because I was not overburdened, and then I turned and my companion was on the ground with the knocked out animation, and I was like, what's your problem? And 4NM gives you minus fatigue if you stay overburdened. So my companion had minus 700 fatigue. It was just too tired and couldn't move. So I was like, okay, can't cheat. That's fair. So it doesn't work always to overburden your companions. And yeah, and then they teleport to you. Hello, lady.
Don't stand about. Get moving.
Well, I'm not powerful enough to command her. Let's go to the other one. Do you have any plans to build on the Smart Companion mod, or you're happy with it for now?
I have still one thing that I want to finish, and it's not working 100% yet. It is the when they activate some something like how they are called, the graphic herbalism items. To make them able to activate and have the mesh updated. So far, I've not been able to make that work because that mod usually is expecting the player to interact with
of course,
with the mesh, and so it's a little complicated to do that. But I think I will try to finish that part. That's one thing for sure that I want to finish. Then, if some idea comes, maybe. But I think the mod is already doing what I was the main thing I wanted for it. So basically, now they take usually things, but you see no animation.
Oh well, you might want to take a look at Merlot's code. If I'm not mistaken, you can tell the Guar to go and harvest a plant, and it does get updated.
Oh, well, if it is updating, that probably yes.
I summon you, Merlot. Wow, I am so powerful. I am level 100. I can just like that. Hello, Merlot. Good morning. Welcome on in. Did you hear my question? Because now you can answer it. Master of Conjuration. I mean, guys, it's right there. So when your conjuration is 300, you too can summon Merlot. Guar Whisperer actually copy pasted the code from Graphic Herbalism. So now we know. Yes, I'm a fruit master. So taking the code directly from Graphic Herbalism is the solution, apparently. Though, Merlot, didn't you copy-paste a minor bug as well? I think I remember that. Because I sent you a report and it was something... What's happening? No, don't kill the Guar. Yes, okay, I do remember that properly. Sorry, little Guar. So maybe a solution for you, Abot.
I can look directly at the code.
That's,
but I don't remember, honestly, if I already tried to take a look at the code and it is not working because I did not finish it, but I know that thing is not working yet. That's the reason. The rest of the mod more or less should be working.
well,
At least I have tested it. Then you have conflicts and things always. And the other mod after this one was the one that was having most problems. The
Smart
one
heads?
about changing the heads.
So tell us about it.
It is very simple. There are already mods doing the same things. Standard mods, but they are replacing the heads basically like a normal plugin. And there are also newer mods doing the same thing, but they are replacing heads for any NPCs, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted something to replace only heads for clones, NPCs, basically gods and a few other things that are spawned with the same basic NPC, always the same face. But I did not want to change other kind of faces, and that's the idea about it. And
Yeah. I was going to say,
very simple.
so because it's Lua, if I make a mod and I put 10 gods and they're all clones, smart heads will be able to replace them, even though it's from a mod.
Yes, basically you have a list of standard heads, and when it finds one of those heads and the NPC is a clone or some other NPC, there are exceptions for some classes, but it tries to replace the heads so they are different. And then it stores the head chosen for that NPC, so when you reload the cell, it is replaced also the next time you encounter that clone.
So if I go to Seydanin and I talk to a god, he will have one face. I go to Balmora and I come back, and the god in Seydanin will have again a different face, or the same face it got?
No.
Okay.
the thing about storing it was to make them choose one head, but keep using that one.
Okay.
It's a different concept compared to things like, for instance, Morrowind Comes Alive, where they change face every time.
Yeah, Morrowind Comes Alive. They actually had it was helmet or something. It was clothes or armor that they equipped.
I think it's called wigs. I think it's set
wigs
up as
and the
hair,
faces
maybe.
as well.
I think it's hair, because this way you can keep using helmets. Not sure about it, honestly, or maybe it's just...
Yeah.
Yes, it is what you could do with some scripting without replacing all of them.
Well, that's cool. Again, because you don't need to have a plugin for it, and most importantly, it covers any mod, not just vanilla Morrowind and maybe Tamriel Rebuilt if you make an add-on. Italy.
Basically, anything that is using for heads, that kind of mesh with that kind of name structure. I don't remember the details, but B underscore N underscore and so on, and then a number. The mod in theory is able to use those meshes for clones. So in theory, respecting that format, you should be able to use a new mod.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one. Simple. I mean, simple. For the user, it's a simple solution. For you who made the mod,
again,
maybe not.
there's already another mod doing the exact same thing, but for all NPCs. That's a big difference. Also, the ones that are not clones.
I saw. Is it a new mod or one that's been out for a while?
It's a recent mod. I did this mod basically to try and refine a little that mod, because I did not want to have changed the standard heads. But the concept is the same, with the difference that I wanted just to touch the clones.
Yeah, that's the problem with face replacers. You cannot, unless you have so much time, you cannot look at every single NPC and go, oh, this one is supposed to be old. Oh, this one is supposed to be a warrior. Let's give him a scarf. Like, manually replace them is just not doable. And then just replace all of them randomly doesn't work as well either, because it might not fit. Okay. Good news, I have my companion and a regular vanilla follower. Let's give myself some water breathing and see if my follower dies in the water. So I hope this works properly, otherwise you will be responsible for her death, basically. Yeah. Come on, cheat menu. There we go. This mod is so useful when testing. Water breathing. Oh, give me water breathing ability. Does that work? Yeah. Okay. Everybody come in the water. That's right. That's right. Alright, we can keep talking and wait for them to die. Maybe. Maybe. A question for you, Abot. What is your favorite mod? Like, your mod, which one of your mod do you prefer, if you have any?
You cannot ask
I just did.
a parent to choose it. One. No, I think, well, The first one probably is the one I like, still like a lot, the best one, because if you think about a mod done 17 years ago and still there is nothing that has replaced it, the concept behind it. And I think that's pretty great, honestly. There are some things about the mod that probably nowadays I would do sacrifice a little efficiency. I don't know how to say it.
You got it.
Making the
Efficiency.
code a little more readable, because I understand that trying to follow what I have a very hard time following that mode code, because I had at the time the my main thing was to make something extremely efficient, because in the code, because I had not yet idea of how heavy on the frame rate a mod like that could have been. So
Are you
I
talking about
optimized the
Water
code.
Life?
No, the first one is the where are all birds going,
The birds
something
was
like
first.
that.
Okay,
Yes.
where are all the birds going? Okay.
Water Life has been the next step with similar concepts, but for water. But at the time I had a little more experience on how to do certain things. And so maybe it's a little more readable, not very much, but honestly I think that when you do some scripting for a game, trying to do things faster is very important, in the limit of the scripting you have, but it's always important. So honestly, you will never see in my code something like true equal 1, because I think it's something, or a comparison in an if test with 1, because I think that if the game is giving me a way to skip one comparison, I use it to have a more faster code, because it's a game and speed is very important.
Yeah, I imagine. I obviously I don't know how to script, but I've been told that even things like putting the commas, like it's not wrong, but the script works well without them, or having the quote marks. Sometimes you need
Yeah,
them.
that is more a problem with how bad is Morrowind scripting. There are some kind of syntax that are triggering problems, and using spaces is probably the simpler way to avoid those kind of problems. It's not very well done. It's something that they probably made heading features after features in a short time. We very well know how problematic was the financial situation of Bethesda when they developed that game. So something is very rush, and the scripting part is probably the one they changed it most, try to add things and so on. And you see it because some part of how the scripting work are really something. I think that Ham-chan, when he goes there and look at how things work, every now and then you see him writing about it. Oh God, this thing is great. Because they did things rushing, and probably the person developing that scripting engine was not so very good at it, probably one of his first works or something like that.
Yeah,
But at the
it could
time,
be. Um, Escobar is saying that even today he's still awestruck when he sees birds, water life, and all the real-time traveling mods. I remember Gondoliers was the first one, I think, and I must say the first time I tried it, I was like, oh my god, this is so amazing, and it's true that even today I was doing Bard Life, and I was writing the gondolier or the gondola that you scripted for me, and I was just going around basically, just enjoying the scenery and listening to the guy who was commenting. You're right. Like even though, how old is Where Are All the Birds Going? Did you say 17 years? Is that what you said?
I'm not sure about it. I think I published that mod, which is my first Morrowind mod, in 2004. I'm not completely sure about that, but I think I started playing Morrowind the year before, so more or less that is the
Well, it's
my first mod.
it's still like all of them, the birds, water life, and all the traveling mods. They're still very unique and relevant today, even though we other modders can do incredible things, especially with Lua. These mods are still relevant. I think the expression is they prove the stand of time. They're still must-have mods, I would say.
Well, probably if someone want to redo things, a mod like the Bats one could be redone in Lua, with not a lot of difficulty. But a mod like the transport mods, essentially, inside the mod code there is also the really difficult part is making the waypoints, deciding the waypoints, the steps in the way the transports are moving, because that's a lot of work. And I think people that recently made some add-on for those plugins, some compatibility patches, for instance. I think about Random Path did for Vivac and so on. I try to explain. It's not hard, the concept how to add these new points, but when you start doing that in the construction site, you realize how much time it takes, and there are about 2,000 of those points in these mods, and really it's been a work, a very long work. And I started that mod because I was a big fan of the idea, and the idea is coming from Flickr. He started developing this mod, so essentially, and I was like waiting for it, because it was my dream come true about Morrowind. The first thing I thought when I seen Assist Trader in Sydney is, wow, I want to travel with this thing for real. And Flickr started developing this kind of mod, and I remember I was waiting 1 year, 2 years. I was perfectly aware of how difficult it was to finish something like that, because there are a lot of paths you have to cover for this. And so I started trying to help, and when I see how he was doing that, I was sure about one thing: it could not be done in a reasonable time, because basically every side crossing had a problem. He was doing that with EI commands, and we know very well that when we cross cell borders, not easy.
Oh yes, yes. I realized that too.
So
Go
at the
ahead.
time, I tried to collaborate, but I was sure, 100% sure that it was not possible to finish the mod that way. So basically, collaboration did not work, and after a while, I started trying to do it myself, and that's the story about it. But the idea was coming from Fligerty.
Well, it works now. It's a little bumpy, but nobody said that riding a Sill Strider was comfortable. So it's a bit bumpy on the way, but that's normal.
It's a compromise, because in theory, to make it less bumpy, you even even admitting we have a way to move things fast enough to avoid, to follow the terrain vertical profile fast enough, which is not something probably you can do. It would have to store also the height of these waypoints. So basically, you had to use, instead of 2 points, 3 points for each step. And it was something that I thought not to try to avoid that. So basically, it is the collision that makes you moving like that. It is a little damped by levitation effect you have on the player, but you still can.
The levitation effect is also on the Sill Strider, isn't it?
I think so. It is also trying to avoiding also a little bump for the Street Rider. It was not at a certain point of the mod, but all in all, it's a compromise between even more bump and more precise collision detection. So the problem with the levitation of the Strider is mostly that there are certain moments where you see them sort of gliding, not following the terrain in a very responsive way, so they are a little higher than what they should be. But all in all, I think this is the best I've been able to do, because else you have even more bumpy movement for the player, because the Strider would go up and down much more frequently without the levitation. So try and fix what you can fix. This is the story of the mod.
Yeah, like you have to accept, like little, like you said, little compromise. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
If I can say something, recently I've used Lua to... another important thing we skipped about the companion mod, which I forgot, the smart companions. One of the main reasons why I tried to do that mod was to make any companion able to do the scenic traveling, which is another great feature of that mod. Basically, I wanted to be able to have my companions, my followers, to do the scenic traveling. It was not possible before.
Go ahead.
Without scripting the companion. And now it is possible, because from Lua I'm moving the companion, the generic companion following the player. But even doing that from Lua, you cannot really have things updated more than once per frame. And so it's not a problem with the speed of the scripting. It's like the games were. The Strider move so fast that it is always a little bumpy. The alternative would be to have them move much, much slower. And I think then the mod is not so...
Maybe then it's a little too scenic.
Exactly. There are people who like a lot to decrease that speed, but honestly, they are very few. So, compromise everywhere.
There we are. Look at that. Look at that. Everybody riding the tiny gondola.
Okay, this is a mostly walk. Did you say gondola in English? Is it right?
I think
We say gondola.
I think gondola is the boat and the gondolier is the person that people in the chat will tell us. But I think they're using the gondola. We can see that with the gondola and the boats because it's flat. It's a lot smoother ride than with the Silk Strider,
Oh yes,
obviously.
in the water you are using. Basically, here you are using water walking, and
So
so
that's,
there are no bumps. You can use that. So there's a special thing about. If you think that, I don't know if you remember how it works, but the Mad Max Galleon it is incredible because you can walk
I can tell.
while traveling on water, and you are up on the galleon. And this works using water walking because for some reason, water walking is making you able to walk over the surface of the water, and it's some trick that Mad Max found at the time, and I think it's really great.
this is so cool. We see another gondola. That's so nice.
Every time, every time they spawn and they crash each other, but
Sometimes they get stuck. But like it's okay. I want to catch up real quick with the chat because we were talking and there were a few questions and comments. So I'm gonna go from the bottom, guys. So forgive me. Be patient. They love to boat. They do. I wondered about a version of Silk Strider that doesn't make you invisible, so you might get attacked while traveling. Ooh, what do you think about that? Would that be a good idea?
I think there should already be the option to make you visible in the menu. I'm not sure, 100% sure, but I think there's already. So you open the configuration menu in game, and that should be for boats, I think, and also for Strider.
Boats has an MCM menu.
No, not
No.
MCM. The menu that you have in standard game, you activate the Strider or the boat, and you
I
have the
see.
menu.
I see.
Or you can talk
Options.
with.
I can make them go faster, slower.
Yes, this one I think there's no invisibility,
Not
but
on
the
that
Strider one there
we'll
should be.
check. But we'll go for another ride. Not a problem. We can check again.
But I think the gondolas don't really need the invisibility because there are no Striders usually over the standard Vivac routes.
No, that's fine.
Basically, this mod is when I see that the animation, the first mod by Akimaister and Tires, I must travel with this, and so luckily we are both Italian, so in a short time we found a way to make both. I think both mods are compatible still, because I use different routes to be compatible with the original mods. But after that mod, we have done together the part of the Striders, and especially the how's they are called? Those in time rebuilt.
Oh yes, the River Striders.
River Striders, yeah. Those has been done from scratch from Akimaister and Tires.
Oh, he did the
And in
animations.
theory, yeah.
Good. Speaking of Archimestra and Darius and Italian modders, I've opened my calendar so I remember properly. Next week on Sunday, Vegeto will be with us, and 2, 3, 4 weeks after that, Archimestra and Darius will be here as well to tell us about mods and Morrowind and all that. So put it in your calendars,
You'll
guys.
find all.
We'll have all the best Italian modders, basically.
Yeah, not many, I think.
Well, yeah, maybe not many, but we have all of them. So there you have it. Yes, gondola ride, very sweet. I still wanted to catch up with the
If
chat.
you manage to interview Kate, I will.
Kate, who did the big castle Vienden with clothing mod? Is that Kate or is it a different Kate?
No, Kate Sit,
Okay.
did most of the nice models before Archimestra and Darius, all the birdies, all the horses, fishes, most of the fishes, I think. But I
All
think
the
that
creatures, yeah.
the best are the birdies. The birdies are the best animation ever made for Morrowind because they are real.
Well, I don't know if Kate's is still available. And Kate's is Italian.
Yeah, I think. At
I
least.
take it back. We do not have the best Italian modders yet. Yes, it's quality, not quantity. I agree, guys.
I think she stopped modding a while ago, so probably not easy to
but look,
contact her.
Archimestra and Darius, I contacted him and I said, hey, I know you're not modding, and I said, oh yeah, I'm modding and I'm updating Big Mod, and he showed me the things he's working on. He's modding, he just didn't tell anybody.
We have a scoop.
Exactly. Let me catch up with the chat because there were lots of things that were interesting. So now we know the Cell Strider, we can be attacked. We'll try that option in the game. What else was there? Learn very careful about taking companion. Escobar, now you know. Companions, if you have the latest MWSC, I know you've tried to update, but that didn't go very well. Easy is wondering if Slowfall could help with the Cell Strider to try and make the ride smoother, maybe? Not sure. Oh, and Vegeto, that's the comment I wanted to find again. Vegeto says that an improvement would be the animation of the Cell Strider. And I kind of agree there.
Creatures.
That's been asked a lot of times during the long story of this and other similar mods. But the thing is, I'm not an animator. I'm just able to patch things in scope, essentially. And when these mods started, especially, there even was just Max Studios. I don't remember the name of the program, but I was even less able to touch things. So basically, what was available, I tried to use. And at the time, the one animation for the Strider was that one by, I don't even remember the author. And so I used that. And honestly, even having a new animation, it would be a lot of work to adapt it for the mod, because in that animation, I have patched various items, the cargo, the NPC who is having a different outfit, and these are not easy to replace because there are a lot of copy of the Strider, each is different and so on, and the same things more or less for the bots. So in theory, I have seen a promising animation once for a Strider, but it's never been finished. And in any case, I would not.
Back these creatures!
I will not probably use them because it's a lot of work to replace the current ones. And also the paths that the Strider are using are not really large. So it would have to be the same size, especially vertically, and I'm not sure if there are something
You know
like
what?
that.
It's okay. We're happy with even with those animations. Before we move on, raiders, welcome on in. Lovely to see you. Triple raid.
Speak, traveler.
Welcome on in. I think I've seen you were playing PUBG. It's not exactly the same thing as Morrowind, but you know, as long as it's fun, then it's good. Welcome on in, guys, and thank you for the follow. Right, I'm going back to the Silk Strider. Yes, please kill the cliff racers because we love the raid, but guys, every time you raid, there's 5 more cliff racers that appear. Please, chat, kill the cliff racers. Thank you. In the meanwhile, I'm gonna try the option for the Silk Strider.
Don't fear the Strider, you can be invisible. Sorry, the racer, not the Strider. There's another problem about that, to be honest.
What is it?
At least in my games, there's something causing the invisibility that should only be a scripted one to trigger with some mods for some reason. And I think that's some kind of conflict or changes done to the command that I use to get this invisibility, but not a real invisibility. It is an invisibility just for creatures trying to attack you. They don't see you, but you are still visible from the outside. You have no transparency on your outfit, and this was great for this mod because it made me me able to allow safe traveling even when you are surrounded by cliff races. But recently I noticed this thing, even using only this scripted command, every now and then you become transparent. So I think that's some kind of interaction, maybe with some newer mod, changing when we attach things to the meshes on the player, something like that. But still I have not found a real reason for that. But every now and then I see this happening. And it's a little ruining the effect.
It is, but if it's only from time to time. And now I have a question for you. Do little glitches like that drive you crazy, or are you able to go, it's okay, let's play?
I try to fix them, but if I don't know how to fix them, I don't really go mad about it. Also because I think that it's not something you can avoid completely, because everything is moving very fast with the new feature we are added by the code patch, by the NWSE, by the NGE. So you cannot avoid this kind of glitches and the conflicts between different mods. So if I find a way to isolate where the problem is, I'm sure that Nightcascade, that Uncharmed, that Grayson 7 will try and fix this. But if I cannot find what is the problem. No problem. It's not something that
You can live
is
with
giving
it.
me.
You can
Yeah.
live with it. That's fair. That's fair. All right, let's take a look at another mod. Abot's loading door. That's not one of the big mods. But it is an interesting one. Can you tell us a little bit about it? Bye.
Well, basically, people are using this. I don't hear your voice anymore.
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. I think people is using this mod just to adding the sound when you close the door. You hear the closing door sound. That's the reason why people are using this mod.
That's what it does. You hear the door closing behind you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the original purpose, in theory, was to synchronize doors. So if you open or lock one side, also the other side was opening or closing. That will be the main functionality. But it is something you use very rarely, trying to lock in a door. So maybe if you have the mod which is making NPCs follow you, probably you can test the mod.
I see. Yeah,
but honestly,
I do have that.
If there are bugs, I don't know, because nobody is checking this thing. Everybody is using that for the sound.
But like, okay, let's be quiet for a second and listen to it. Let me make sure I have. It's gonna be effect, I think. So. You heard that, guys. I opened the door. I closed the door. You know what? It's like, oh, it's nothing, but it's actually pretty immersive.
It's like the mod by R0 when you open the shop, you hear the...
Exactly. No, I don't think I have it installed because this is my small Morrowind. So I have your mods and almost nothing else installed. I'm not sure I have it. We'll see. So that's a... Oh. Well, that didn't work. What did I do? COC say that in... Okay. Well, that's not... Maybe I mistyped it.
My time is precious, so make it quick.
So no, I think it's one of those mods that really adds immersion, even though you don't think you need it, basically. Smart ammo. Neen. Oh, did I mistype it? I'll try again. I'm a little confused with all the options from smart arrows.
Well, this is still using a very primitive interface, because I did not yet try to use the new MCM features added by Merlord at the time, and so it's much simpler. But in short, you have three numbers, or two or three numbers you can choose to set the option, and I think it changes the sorting by which you choose what kind of arrow you want to use. The most damaging ones probably, or the ones that
I
costs
see.
more. I don't remember exactly.
I see it there. So you can
Less value,
choose to
yeah.
have the less valuable, whichever one you have in greater quantity first. then the rarest one or the most valuable ones. Okay, that makes sense.
In theory, it should choose, because usually you don't have just one in your inventory, one kind of arrow. So sometimes you want to spare the good ones, and so depends on your, and you can set that.
Okay, that makes sense.
And I think that's basically apart this sorting, the difference from a similar mod that has been done before by Merlot is that this is auto-equipping. I think when you equip the bow, not waiting for you to draw it, that's the main difference.
Let me pull it up. So Merlot's mod is automated ammo equip. It switches between bows and crossbow without having to change the ammo manually. So if I have a bow, it will equip arrows. And if I have a crossbow, it will equip bolts. But I don't think it has like all the options of yours.
No, I made this mod like an expansion of this one. So for sure it has more options, but I mean I started from the idea of this mod and try to add more things and also to make it equip the add the arrow to the bow not when drawing it but right when you equip it. That's the main difference.
I see. And I'm smiling because I don't know if you can see on the stream, Merlord in the description put a FAQ question. Is it open Morrowind compati? Answer, no! You're in luck, somebody made a mod. How many times? I think in your mods, I've seen you put not a disclaimer, but you put a message. You say it doesn't work with Open Morrowind. I don't know if it works with Morrowind Rebirth. It's like you must have the question so often.
Well, the one for Open Morrowind, luckily, lately, less frequently. The one for Rebirth, I think, not so much, but we have that mod we made that had recently a question like this, but
Ebonheart,
I mean,
that one?
for the Ebonheart, I spent a real lot of time to make it compatible, both if you have NWC, both if you don't have it. So it's a matter of saying yes or no. And I still have users asking for a version for Rebirth because they don't want to press that button once.
So I must say,
in a character build, I mean, sometimes I'm not very gentle in my answers, but that's a reason why.
I think it's fair. And in your defense, when we first made that mod, and somebody says, "Is it compatible with Morrowind Rebirth?" and we were like, "No, sorry." But you updated the mod and you took the time to make it compatible anyway. So even if sometimes you say, "No, it's not compatible," don't ask. You still made it compatible. So.
I try to make things to make the mod user happy most of the time, but there are some things that when I see people that asking to a modder to do something because they don't want to press a button once, then I say no.
No, that's fair.
It doesn't work like this.
I agree.
Open Morrowind is entirely another category of compatibility and design matter. I think that there's an important concept behind. My reasoning is it is Open Morrowind that should be compatible with the original one and not the contrary. So I'm not very open to spend my time to adapt and make something that works for Open Morrowind. That's
because it would be making a complete, it's a rewrite of the mod. It's not like you change a couple of things and now it's okay. It's especially with the code and Lua, it's just not the same thing.
Well, Lua is impossible at this moment,
time.
I think. In theory, it is possible for certain things in the standard scripting to write things trying to be as compatible as possible. For instance, all books code in Time and Rebuild has been rethinked to be compatible also with Open Morrowind. But there are some things that simply works differently because Open Morrowind is not compatible 100% with standard Morrowind. Animation part, scripting parts, and a lot of these things are what is making possible certain things done in a certain way in my mods. For instance, the command that I use to make the Strider turn around is what is available in standard Morrowind scripting, which is NEI command. It is not ideal, but the mod has been tuned for that command. So the speed, especially for bots at which they are turning, is tested to avoid touching the rocks all around. I will never be sure that Open Morrowind is able to work with a different command with the same kind of speed. So it may happen that the bot is touching a rock, and these things I have not the time nor the intention of testing because they are different. And it would be a lot of work even for a paid job. So asking someone to do something like that means you are not realizing what you are asking. There are more than 2,000 waypoints in that mod. Even at 3 minutes for waypoints, just to be something. Think about it before asking.
Sure. I can Random Val was saying that he thought he was going to go crazy just looking for the new waypoint around Vivek, which is only a small part of it. And I remember when Merlon and I did the mod that randomizes where Ajira scrolls are in the Mages Guild, it's one cell. It's tiny. And I just had to find the location points, the XYZ angle points for 20 different locations. And it took forever to get those. I don't want to imagine how it was to do that for all the boats and the Sill Striders and the gondola. No way. It's like you said, it's not a paid job. It's something you do in your free time. So the first and only condition is that it has to be fun, not something that you go crazy and you want to bang your head against the walls. Yeah, I think we agree. I was going to say something and I forgot. Yeah, you were talking about Morrowind, and before you were saying how Lua is good and everything, but we don't have to make everything Lua. And I agree with you. Like, I adore the Lua mods. Love them too much. But quite often people, like even for friends and foes, which just is level list basically, people say, oh, but it would be cool with Lua and everything. And I agree, it would be cool, probably. The problem is I don't know how to do that, so somebody will have to do it for me. And if I do that, then it means that people on Open Morrowind cannot use the mod, and I'm not sure that it's worth, like, is it going to really improve the quality of the mod, or just make it cool because it's Lua? So I agree with you. We need to be realistic in our expectations, I think. 2,000 waypoints, yeah. Okay, what mod did we not look at? Oh, smart helmets. Was smart helmets the first smart mod? It was either helmet or
I
map.
don't remember, honestly.
It was helmet or
Probably
map.
one of the first. It's a less smart, probably one of the less smart, because still is not working perfectly. But
Is there
honestly,
some of your mods that you yourself don't use anymore?
I don't think so, because maybe, well, something replaced from the newer version, probably. But honestly, I think I'm using most of them, even if they are not published. I have merged them in some mods that I use. I have a mod I call gameplay, where I have merged a lot of tweaks from other mods, tweaks that I just for me and so on. But honestly, I think one of the main reasons to make a mod is to make it for yourself first, because you like the idea, you like to have it in your game. Then sometimes you are not able to realize what your idea, because you simply don't know enough to be able to do it, or there are limits in the engine and so on. But if you make a mod that is similar to what your idea was, I think you keep on using it unless something really better happens. For instance, recently I have replaced the historic Malayan teleportation mod with Lua mod 1. And all in all, I think that the Lua version is using Lua to have all in all a better experience. And so I'm using that, but there are still mods that I prefer in the old version. I keep using them.
So you said you're making and using mods that you have not published. You're hoarding, keeping secret mods from us.
I'm not holding, but maybe they are not completely finished. They are special mods, like the one making the Breton voices and so on. I mean, I have a couple people asking that mod. I have given them, but they are very special, because not everybody is using. I think I am one of the few persons using more or less the same character every time. So things like this, or mods to interface necessities of Morrowind with Ashfall. I'm not sure if I ever published that part somewhere, but they are still
publish some Morrowind crafting necessities.
Yeah.
Maybe with Ashfall
that
too.
is almost finished, but for instance the Ashfall compatibility part, I'm still adding things while I try, so it's not finished, not something I can publish. To be honest, there's one friend that asked me a lot, and he wanted to experience my Morrowind world. And technically it's not easy, because 18 gigabyte of folders is not something, but he was so insisting and so I mean, I told him, you know, that half of these things are work in progress experiments. Yes, but I love to. So we managed to do. I made a special account. I don't remember where, in one of the sites. Yeah, the Mega, I think it's called, with enough free space just for him because he was so happy about it. And I think he's still
assistance do
trying
you
to play with
need?
it. Every now and then he asks me something about, oh, I don't understand this thing. But I see after the first start, he's able to walk with his feet, I think, and he's able to experience more or less the big Morrowind world that I have.
The massive Morrowind world.
And there are bugs, there are things, but I mean, it's a very special case. You must be ready to find errors, find problems. Not something you can publish for the general people that tell you, oh, I don't want to press this button once, make me a compatible version. Yeah, it's not possible even. So really, I think that people like Randall Paul, people who make and especially follow development of this mega compilation have a real hard work trying to keep things updated and users happy, because
That's just not possible. You cannot. You cannot. There's always somebody who would prefer something tweaked a little differently. You make the mod that you want to play. You listen to the feedback and the request. You do patches and different versions if you feel that it's reasonable. But at some point you have to just say, guys, that's the mod. Use it, be my guest. If not, don't use it or change it yourself. Like there's only so much a modder can do. I've been running around in and out of Seidenine, and when I go to town, I take my hat off. I might be missing an option to have it re-equip automatically.
I think when you equip or unequip, if you keep Alt key pressed, I don't remember if you can configure that honestly, but it was Alt. It is sort of stored like your preferred helmet, so it will not try to equip another in a different situation. It will try to give priority to that one.
I see.
So,
I have it now. You're right. You have to hold Alt while you equip the helmet. Exactly it. And there's the option, we'll test that. There's the option also to equip it when it's raining.
That should be the automatic behavior. Basically,
What's this about?
when it's raining, if you have the option enable, the script tries to equip one helmet. So if you have a preferred helmet store, it will use that one, but else it will try to use anything. In theory, that bugs are possible, because
Now I'm keeping it on though. Since I've stored it, it stays on all the time, I think. Though I can do Alt Z. There it is. Yeah.
Take arms! Drive back these creatures!
Well, we're getting raided again. Well, come on in, raiders. It never rains when you want it to. It's like when I want the rain to come, it just doesn't happen. Yes, please kill the cliff racers, guys. Yeah, I'll have to play with the options a little bit.
Let me check if I'm able to do that.
Oh, Reynard, you were playing Morrowind and you finished already? What is that? Just, what, a few hours of Morrowind? It's 12 hours minimum. Thank you for the raid. How are you doing? Yeah, yes, well, now you brought the cliff races. You did it. How did your Morrowind go? Swap helmet according to area of danger, yes. Automatic swapping, yes. Equip, yes.
But this mod is not really something I'm sure. It is something experimental because synchronizing all those options is not. I'm sure there are glitches and so on. And another one that could have this kind of problem is the map one. I think not easy to find a good balance for that.
That's Morrowind as well, and like even the threshold between the cells, because it's all about detecting the cells and detecting the doors. I think you were using as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Morrowind is not really good. Like right now, it's telling me I'm still in the Bitter Coast, when on the way out I was still in Sadanin. So it's like, make up your mind, Morrowind. However, of all the features, just the one where you equip, like you designate a rain hat or a bad weather hat, and this one is equipped automatically when the weather is detected, I would definitely use that. Whereas here, me losing, and I play in first person a lot, so I would probably think that I have my helmet on, but not have it because it was removed when I went to town. But yeah, the one with the weather. Bad weather, if there's no hat equipped, then equipped selected hat previously or something like that. So a lighter version of it, I guess.
I think I should probably add more than one preferred, or give some different category for the one you want to use when rain is raining, the one you want to use as enchanted prefer. It would need more details about that, but
Like I could definitely see one for the rain, for a storm, an ash storm, a blizzard, based on the different weathers. For example.
Basically, I just try to let you choose your preferred enchanted helmet, but it's not enough, because if you want to use the right one just when it's raining, it would need more different slots to choose some preferred helmet, and so probably that's one thing that I should add.
We make a special trip just for you. Same
Or
low price.
I suppose, I was going to say, I suppose you could say, if it rains, put on the gondolier's hat. But,
yeah,
but then players are going to say, but Abot, I want to wear my Colombian fur helm. Who says that? I don't.
There's a preferred key. I should just add some more categories.
Yeah,
so
I guess.
Your preferred fighting enchanted helmet, your preferred raining helmet, and so on. One thing that's already some kind of specialization is that if you go inside a cave, in theory, it should detect that there's low light and look for an enchanted helmet with some light effects or some night eye effect, in theory. I don't know how well it will work, because it's not just realizing that the place is dark is not easy because that's not a standard, and
Yeah, I
it depends on
remember.
what mods you have installed,
Yeah.
how you have the light sets and so on. But in theory, the experiment you should do also something like that.
Yeah, detecting the light is tricky because there's the light items that we can see, but in the game there's also all those invisible light sources. And I think I remember, sorry, when Mort was here, and he was talking about his stealth mod, and he was saying that detecting light level was actually really really tricky, and it's completely different from the interiors and the exteriors. Um, So yeah, I believe you. I believe you. I was going
Well,
to ask you something and I
I don't
forgot.
even try detecting the real lights, just the colors used by the cells. But even that is complicated because it depends on your mod, especially all these Lua mods changing the settings, light settings of interior. Everybody could have different settings, so the level of perceived light could be very different.
That's what I was remembering when we were talking. What you were describing about the different hats for different conditions. Honestly, with a mod like Quick Loadouts by Merlord, I don't know if you've tried it.
This is my preferred mod by Merlot.
Oh,
Absolutely. I love it. I use it uh, every time. I will always use that mod while I play with it because it's great. You can store all your setups easily. It's very easy to get them back. Uh, I think it's one of my preferred ones.
yeah, and then it's easy not just to have the hat for the rain, but you can have as many as 9 outfits. So city, sleeping and sleeping, bathing, fighting, cold weather, hot weather, and there's 4 more, and I don't know what to do with them. But I'm sure we can think of something. I don't know that it is Merlord's most popular mod, actually. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a little, what can I do? Endorsement. Ashfall skill module bookworm. Huh. I'm a little surprised to see bookworm is the third
The
most.
bookworm is another one that I always use because it's great. Also, that thing that you have to turn the pages to actually read.
The book. You know, I was using your mod for the longest time. The one that just put a little star for the skill books. And then I switched to bookworm.
That's a perfect example of a mod that is worth improving using Lua because it is going past the limit you have with the standard scripting. In the standard scripting, you can only change the name of the skill books. You cannot do anything else. While with Lua, you can really change every book and in a more cleaner ways and store the different setup in a better way. So that's a perfect mod to use with Lua.
So, yeah.
So basically, that's one of the mods that I don't use any. Oh, maybe I still use it, but it could be something replaced
It's
for
a
sure
bit,
by
it's
the
a bit
Lua one.
redundant.
Yeah.
Agreed. Let's talk about smart merchants because we have a lot of options. Me personally, I'm like, I'm gonna go with the default settings that Abot decided they must be good, and I don't touch anything. What settings do you have for yourself? Like, do you like to change things, or is that how you play the
Depends.
game?
Maybe at the start I move things to be a little easier, but usually what I change is the formula used to lower the prices. The harder button like reductions maybe at the start. I have it off like in the, but very soon I think. Personally, I like the one version which is a square root. The original by
Mort. Harder
Mort
is Mort, yeah.
is using the equivalent of the second step, which is a little too steep for my
Yeah, I
for my
didn't know.
taste.
I didn't know the formula, but if I understand, if an item is worth 1,000,
It's a more steep,
yeah, that's harsh.
basically,
That's harsh.
and then there's another still even harder, and then more or less I think I keep the rest because these are more or less the standard settings that were used in the first original mods that tried to set up these things, and I think more or less still it's a good balance for the game, and so they are more or less the original settings used by Joachim in his mod.
I'm looking.
They are just easier to
Hot
tweak.
Fusion's economy adjuster and Joachim's game settings.
Basically, this is 3 mods in one. There's the standard game settings, which are from the Joachim mods. Then there is a newer version of the equivalent of the other mod.
Hot Fusion, yeah.
The Hot Fusion, and then there's the one by mod with a lower steep curve, if you want, for the function lowering the prices, and then there's little new things, which is the giving the creatures a little better. Where it is, the options, I don't remember where it is, but there must be creature bargain level. So they are not more selling things at a standard price.
Okay. I would argue that it's 4 mods in one because you also have upgrade merchant NPC skills, and that's what harder merchant does, if I understand properly, where exactly the skills of the merchants improve as well. So there's also
now those
I
things are the parts that were done by the
it's written there.
Hot Fusion mod upgrading. Maybe the mod one is doing the same things. I don't remember honestly.
Actually,
Probably
harder merchant is Greatness 7. Uploaded by Corsair, I think. Why do I have all of those facts in my head? It's not going to help me to remember who made mod, uploaded by whom, on what date. Why do I remember those things? And then I forgot, a phone number or something. But that's, different story. So yeah, smart merchant. And now they're really smart. I'm waiting for somebody to say, where are the hot merchants? We have the smart mods and no hot merchants, sexy merchants. Ariel in skimpy armor. That would be so bad. So bad. Another probably underrated mod of yours is the who's where.
Personally, I use that a lot. I think if someone has a big installation with a lot of quests, this mod can be very useful. I had a little problem with this one recently because I'm not able to use probably correctly the more modern interface MCM controls, because I found that it was cutting the long text for some reason. I not been able to, so I have to go back to the more simple list with the standard. But this way it works even with hundreds of quests, and it seems to work correctly. So every now and then I have to go back because I'm just not able to understand how to use something. But
It's a learning
functionality is
process. A learning process.
Yeah.
My dancers are broken. They're not doing anything. You were saying before, yes, my dancers are broken. You were saying before that you make mods to see how it works and learn how to mod. I did the same thing when I did the voice for Therana. It was a learning process. I was like, okay, I want to see if I can make the NPC speak. That was one thing. And then I want to see if I can make the voices for an NPC. And I have learned that I am not good at it. So I haven't done it again. Learning experience done. For sure. Okay, is there something we haven't really looked at? No, I mean everybody, every person who's ever played Morrowind and mod Morrowind must know about Abot Waterlife. I have a question. How do I ride a dolphin? I've never succeeded. I've tried and it didn't work.
In theory, if they like you enough, you should have to activate them, and then you can sort of move around while they are traveling around. I don't know. Usually it works for me. Maybe the one thing to pay attention to is not double activate for some reason, because I'm not sure. I don't remember honestly which are the keys you must use to stop traveling, but I think is the same you use to start. So if you press it 2 times, it will immediately end
The ride. Okay.
But I can check because honestly I don't remember. I think it is based on how they like you. So it could be that it is just that your character is not
Likeable.
Yeah.
It happens.
But in theory it should work. And it is the same code for dolphins, for seals.
Never seen the seal. I don't think.
And you must go the place where usually to the north to see seals and penguins and things like that.
Many things to discover.
The code is more or less the same, but maybe dolphins are the better suited for that code because you can turn around while they move and you can actually sort of position so you can ride them because they have the right size. But I can take a look. It could be that something is not working anymore.
It's just that when I'm underwater, my normal reaction is I'm panicking and I'm like, go, 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 no slaughterfish, please, no slaughterfish, go, 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 go. Like I'm just too stressed. And sometimes it's much later, I go, oh, the slaughterfish are gone. And then I see they're all dead. And I'm like, oh, I missed a dolphin.
One of the things that I have not enabled by default in Waterlife because I didn't want to do to force that, but I think it's an option that everybody should enable is to have the slaughter fishes be less aggressive. So they are still aggressive, but you have to go at a near
Close to
distance
them.
for them to attack, instead of them to run at a super speed from miles away. And I think I always use that setting because it makes swimming still dangerous but not so annoying, because they are like cliff races. They follow you from miles and miles away, and I don't
And
like
so
that very
where
much.
is the setting? Is it when
In the same menu, uh, so it will work for slaughter fishes which are not override by another. For instance, I think the creatures mode also is changing the standard slaughter fish. So if you want that work with water life, I think it could be a little problem, because if the other mod is an ESP, you should change water life to be also an ESP and load it after. Maybe I could think about a patch, but that's
No, it's fine. It's fine.
not
And
really.
Zero Fox wants the less aggressive slaughterfish. What we've done, Zero Fox and I, with Prof really, we made the surf racers, which is cliff races on the water. I know. But one of the features that I added was that they don't attack you from a great distance unless you are badly hurt. So if your HP is down, then they will attack you from a greater distance.
Like the sharks. I have the sharks
Exactly.
scripted like this.
And I think the slaughterfish should be like that because they're like piranhas, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And that way, when the slaughterfish are less aggressive, people can be attacked by the surf racers, which is good. One of the features that I really like with water life is that the fish are not always everywhere, but if you go by the water, oh, it's a groupie. If you go by the water and you wait a little bit, then they start spawning, and you can see the fish, you can see the duck. Now the duck is gone, and the seashells also. I like that. It's very relaxing, I guess. Especially if you have ashfall, you build your fire close to the water, you sit down on a cushion, and you can, like, you really have like an animated wall screen. What do you call it? Animated wallpaper. I think it was Windows 98. You could have a fish tank. That's
Yeah.
what we have in the game, and I like that.
And in theory, they should. One of the things that I try to making this kind of mods spawning a lot of creatures. One of the first thing I try to do is make them disappear in a reliable way to avoid cluttering the saves too much. So when you are at a certain distance, they are removed from the cell.
Which is good. I see the question about the fishing pole. Actually, I have one here. I need, Abot, remind me, I need bait. Like crabfish?
I think you can use crab. You can use the it is called. Don't remember, jelly something. But
I just need to have it in my
tell you.
inventory, right?
Yeah, but if you try and you don't have it, you should see a message, I think.
Like
if you are lacking
don't have
everything.
it.
Squib jelly, I think it's the other one. Crab meat and another. That's another one, I think, but I don't remember. But if you have crab meat, it should work.
No, it doesn't tell me if I don't have anything, but take my crab meat. I just need to have it in my inventory, right?
but you have to try and fish. So it means, in short, you have to try and hit near the fish.
Not at the fish. Yay!
Well, that would be the... you manage to get it. Basically, you should try to hit nearby. They, in theory, sooner or later should turn and try to reach you, and when they are nearby, you can finally try to catch them, not hitting them directly, but hitting nearby.
Well, you really need the patience. Like, I really feel like I'm fishing, and it's like, come on, bite, you stupid fish. Huh.
It's a sort of joke mode, because there's no technically a way to
I mean,
do
it
a
is
real...
true. It would probably be faster to actually go and hit them with my weapon or something. But that's not the point. That's not the point.
No, the point is to understand how it works and see if you're able to lure them, because the difficult part is not hitting them, but making them come near your position, so you can finally get them. And at the start especially, it's super difficult because your skill is 0, and so not something super easy, so most people just bash them a couple times and
it's faster with the spear.
The spear is, in my opinion, very good for people who don't like to play with the fishing skill and so on, because you can string the fish with the spear. If you use the spear, you can catch them, and you see the blood.
I hate it. I'm really not good. What I wanted to say, I do not have a skills module installed, but with Water Life, you get fishing as an extra skill. So I know a lot of people have been waiting for a fishing mod, and there is fishing with fishing poles or something that came out. But Abot Water Life already does that. And it puts the fish to catch. So I'm like, we can already fish. And even if you don't have MWSC, I've sold the book. I'm sorry, I dropped the book somewhere, Water Life. I sold it, I forgot. Or did I give it to my companion? Where's my companion? But you can keep track of your skill. And there it is. There, look at that. I got a fish, and now my skill is 0.2. So if you have MWSE, you have it as a skill in your character window, like you have other skills, survival, cooking, depending on the mods you have. And even if you don't have it, the book keeps track of your skill. So I think that's all you need. And for crabs, Ashfall has some crab nets. I don't have Ashfall installed, but you buy them and then you go in the water and you just go up in the water, but it's not a book, it's a net. And then you come back later and there's crab meat in them. So yeah, I think we have what we need for fishing mods. At least for now. You definitely need to try Ashfall. You do, definitely. Right, Abot, is there something, some mod or that we didn't talk about, but you wanted to talk about?
I don't remember much. I think the transport mod, I think we talked more or less.
Yeah, because it's good. It's good.
They are similar, just using I can say that I don't know how it will what will be the future of the river striders, because from what I understand they are going to probably disappear or be put inside some subterranean bases in the future of time and rebuild, but
Well, that's a shame.
we will see. It's a shame, especially because it's been an animation and some things, resources done to be used by the mod, and so. But I don't know. Not sure about that. So I hope to be basically, if they don't remove the complete rivers in the part where the striders are, I will try to keep them working. But if they decide to completely remove them, I don't know. Maybe I will try and do the same things I done with the other city, small village that will be Baloria, I think it was called. I don't know. I know it will change again. So, but if possible, I will try to keep the Strider port there. I don't know. I must see what will change in.
It would really be quite a shame because they look cool and it's cool to ride them.
But I don't think they will change how the rivers are positioned. I mean, maybe they can remove the river striders. I think I will be able to place them nearby from directly from the from my mod, like I already did with the Baloria Strider, because it's been already removed from time you rebuild, but if you install my mod, it is there again because I just copied the pieces.
Actually, speaking of Tamriel Rebuilt and the traveling mod, I'm looking at my Rymash. In Tamriel Rebuilt, in the archive, there's an Abot travel mod version, and I'm confused because you update them every time there's an update. Like you keep the mod updated.
That Abot travel or compatibility is something that's in Time Rebuilt archive is not necessary. You should not use it anymore because it's an old version that was not working correctly 100% because it's been done by Atreyonis, I think, and I just incorporated those things in Waterlife in next version, so this is not needed anymore.
So good information for everyone. That patch for Abot Travels mod.
Yeah, it is not needed.
I've never used it because I saw you update your mods regularly, and I'm like, I'm gonna use Abot's patch. So okay, good. So we've learned something useful stuff. Are you? It's a $1 million question. Are you currently working on a mod, or are you updating existing mods?
I think I'm trying to fix those things that the thing about the graphic herbalism not working yet with the companion mod, smart companion mods, and I'm adding things to some mods that for now are personal, which is the Lua part of the gameplay mod, where I'm adding basically compatibility with other mod. For instance, I have a Lua part that is detecting if you have the go to jail mod, and is making the part when you go to jail and you have to drop all your things automatica. And I think that's a great use of Lua. That is not yet explored by a lot of modders, which is making some compatibility layer between classic mods, which have a lot of works inside, and I mean in the construction set part, and they are hard to make entirely in Lua. But it is very easy from Lua to detect a mod and to make patch to improve some functionality of that mod using what we can do from Lua. And I do that, I try to do that with the mods, all mods that I love, like the necessities, like Morrowind crafting, like this go to jail, because okay, we know that there will be alternatives in the future for Morrowind crafting. The new version, Lua version, should come in a short time, I think.
Yes,
we have Ashford that could replace.
Yeah. I was going to say, Jack will be joining one of those Sundays. Well, I forgot when exactly, and we'll be talking about Morrowind crafting and looking at the new features and everything. That's it. I'm sorry, you can continue.
So I have this thing that I'm trying to do in Lua with different mods just to interface them. I have other things, experiments. For instance, I have a mod. Basically, I like to explore mods, even unfinished mod, Linux mod, and I love to just explore tiny rebuilt areas which are not finished. And there are things that while I travel, I think, oh crap, this thing is really not good for people trying to do something like that. The first thing is really something that, okay, you know, there's, I don't know if you ever tried to travel in the preview parts of Tiny Rebuild. Mm-hmm. The last thing they invented is the deprecated,
yes,
ugly red blocks.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And okay, that thing I really don't. I hate because I understand why they are there, but markers are a standard in the construction set. I mean, you do this mesh, just make it a marker so people playing the game don't see that ugly thing, red thing, and that's solved. Or at least make an add-on so people can just replace those couple meshes and solve the problem. You really avoid ruining the immersion, and this is an easy thing. Another thing that is not so easy, and so I try to do a Lua mod for that, is when you have the doors which are not yet linked to some interior. And you know that there is no interior, but when you play, you try opening the door to know if it works, and the door is rotating and ruining your immersion. A mod that I'm trying to develop is something that in a reliable way can tell you the door is blocked, this door is shut, and so on, and you cannot do it like that.
And is that a difficult mod to make?
It is not as easy as it seems, because you have to understand if the door is not linked because it is a standard gate door, or it is not linked because it is meant to in the future connect.
Could be
and
scripted
the same
as well.
mod is also trying to change what you see when you touch the doors. So you don't see anymore TR underscore XY, but you see the name, for instance, of the region, the cell where you are. That is one thing that I'm trying to do, one of the last things. But I have a lot of ideas like this. I start and then I stop for a while. So those things could be ideas.
It's usually when you feel that that's it. I cannot play the game until I have done this or that, and then you mod it. But yeah, like if it's something that you need so badly to play the game and enjoy it, then you're going to mod it intensively, maybe quickly. But if you can still play and enjoy the game, then it's just an idea that can wait, I think. Usually. So yeah, for example, the deprecated items, you couldn't play with them, so you made a mod
Personally,
for it.
it was something that was really ruining my immersion, and luckily I found a way to fix it. It's not being so easy because I took a lot of the time, and the reason is, how can I say it, diabolic, is it right? Because there is not one mesh. There are two meshes, because both Time Rebuild and Project Tamriel are placing two different meshes for that, and they are using both. So Time Rebuild using the one from the other resource, BSA, and so I went mad before realizing that, but finally I managed to make them some markers so they are no more visible. But that is,
I guess another example of something that you just had to do is the water splash sound for Tamriel Rebuilt.
I started that with the scripting version for standard scripting, but there are technical limits for that, because basically you could calculate the distance from the center of the mesh, but when the mesh is various forms is not easy, so it was a radius approximation. And with you can do something based on the position, on the collision. Basically, if the player is hitting the background of the water, which is much more precise, and so it works much better, I think. And also I have added what has been introduced by R0 and Greater 7, which is slowing you the more you go down this fake water, and so it's working, I think, pretty well.
All right, because I know the mod water waddle, I forgot the original mod by R0, the one that slows you down when you are in the real water, and so you're working on doing the same thing.
I do the same idea also in the fake water. Yes,
cool.
I add the sounds and also this effect because it's very immersive. It gives you even more the feeling that you are in real water.
For sure.
Even if it is not. You cannot swim, but
you feel like you're in the water. So that's good.
Until we have something better.
One day for sure. You know what? Speaking of feeling, have you tried, or would you be curious to try virtual reality like Morrowind in VR or Skyrim in VR that already exists?
Honestly, not something that I'm really looking for, because I don't know, maybe I'm not really I think it's something more for people who like the first person view. This kind of image. I like very much also to have a third-person view when I play Morrowind, because I like a lot to look at the surrounding, and that's how I usually, until I start fighting, I play in third-person view. And so maybe, but probably it could be great for. Also because I think
experience.
Oh, sorry. You need some special equipment for that, I suppose. So it's not something
not
simple.
as much. Now it's a lot like even Morrowind and Glisp. I do know that you can have Morrowind in Open Morrowind in VR, but it's still It's not an official thing, whereas Bethesda has published Skyrim VR, which is still quite kind of hacky and stuff, but it's an official release, whereas Open Morrowind and I forgot the program used, but it's open source. It's not official. It's good, possibly better, but it's different. I would be curious. One day I'll go there, probably, and then I'll run away from the cliff races. But for real, it's the idea. VR Steam's pretty wonky in general. Hey, it's the beginning. It's starting. So we'll see. Right, I don't know about you guys, but I am getting pretty hungry and thirsty. So I think we might be calling it today. Abot, how is your voice? You've been talking quite a lot.
I'm drinking already. Oh, I'm good.
You're good.
But still, I'm too a little tired, honestly.
That's fair. That's fair. We'll call it today. Abot, thank you for joining me. Really appreciate it. Everyone, if you don't know it yet, Abot actually streams regularly on YouTube. You can see his Morrowind install that is absolutely stunning. I'll tell you the truth, Abot. Every time I watch your stream, I'm taking notes. I'm like, ooh, I don't know that mod, and I'm writing it down, and then I'm checking them out. Like, I go to your stream to talk to you, obviously, but also to learn about mods and about modding in general. So, guys, I'm linking you Abot's channel there. Oh no! Tell me quickly. Pillars of Eternity. You've played a lot of it. Do you enjoy it as much as Morrowind, or differently? How is it?
I'd say differently, because I think Morrowind is sort of unique. It's a different game. I think Pillars of Eternity is the real hair of another game which I've loved a lot. Still love, but there are these new versions that are probably more modern, and that was Baldur's Gate series. Because there are other great games in third-person view, like the Divinity series and so on. The latest Baldur's Gate 3 done by Larian, I think, but they are different. They don't have the real-time with pause combat, which I like very much more than the turn-based one. So there are not many games using that, and I like Pillars also because it's very practical. There are it's hard to I'd say master it, and also because they thought about introducing some really hard challenges for player. So it was thought to be good at the game. You had a real challenge to be able to get that final. It is called Ultimate Challenge, and it is really like this.
Yeah, it's not like you can drag to select all your characters and then click on an enemy attack and wait. Like, you really need to pay attention to resistances, how the spells work, and that sort of things. I've only played Pillars 1, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was, and the writing is really good. Very enjoyable throughout. But guys, back to Abot on Twitch. What's the name of your channel? Is it Abot or A Bit of Taste?
I think it's a bitter taste, but honestly, I must look for it because I just
Got it.
stream using Restream, and then I work mostly trying to fix things on YouTube because that's where uh, the VODs stay, because Twitch is something that
They do
uh,
stay on Twitch as well, to be honest. But yeah.
let me see if I find it. But the link to Twitch
We
is
have
for
it
sure in
We-
the YouTube
as well.
channel.
True. As well as a link to your website.
I think it's a bit of test, something like that. Let me see if I
Yeah,
find it.
we have it. We found it.
Okay.
Good. So guys, Twitch or YouTube, you choose. I would also recommend to go to Abot's website, because there are mods that are not on the Nexus, first of all. Some super useful things like the Morrowind history index. Right now the Morrowind history is down, but if you want to search it, this is how you find a mod on the Morrowind modding history. Modlist is super useful as well, because these are all the mods that have been showcased. There's me. There's all the mods that have been showcased on Dark F Guy's channel, and by now you know that Abot is a perfectionist. So you get the link to the video. You even get some comments on things. Minor exterior lag, we're fixing that. You even get some notes on the mod so that they run smoothly. It's like, it's a treasure trove. Oh, and you definitely want to read the modding for Smarties. Though I was looking at some of them are a little older, maybe, but still.
Then there are still things that are obsolete, but I honestly, it's a lot of times since I write something there, and last things I wrote are when trying to update for time review, because oftentimes there are new problems, and it's not easy even for me to remember after a couple years how I managed to solve those problems. So I write there. There are very complicated steps to make to be able to correctly upgrade things, and so that's the main reason why I'm writing some articles recently, because the rest I think we talk about in the chats. And
I'm just looking at your mod list. We didn't talk about the Hide Corpse mod, which is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated mod. So guys, you go to Abot's website, and you go to the downloads, and you will find in there is Hide Corpse there, and you get that mod. It's that simple, which allows you to basically bury the bodies, which is good for immersion if that's what you like to do, but it's also really good for the corpses that you cannot dispose of. Now you can. Enough said. Okay, maybe we should call it a day or a night for a lot of people. Abot, once again, thank you very much for joining us.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for
It was a pleasure to
bearing
talk to
with
you.
my English.
No, maybe I don't know if you saw it, but earlier, when you were saying your English is not very good, Lucevar disagreed. She said your English is excellent, so no excuse. You'll have to talk to us more again.